Some people keep saying they do not have time, but what they really mean is that their time is already being spent somewhere else. On stress, on distraction, on fear, on scrolling, on overthinking, on helping everyone else accept themselves, on waiting for life to feel easier before they begin. And that is why success feels so far away for so many people. Not because they are lazy, not because they are broken, but because their hours are leaking out of their hands before those hours ever become real progress. Time is one of the most powerful resources a human being has, and one of the most wasted. It cannot be stored in a drawer. It cannot be borrowed forever. It cannot be paused until you feel ready. It only responds to what you do with it. And if you learn how to protect it, shape it, and use it with intention, you can create hours that did not seem to exist before. That is not magic. That is focus. That is discipline. That is the quiet power behind every person who eventually changes their life. The first thing you must understand is that time does not disappear by itself. It gets taken by habits, taken by noise, taken by fear, taken by the habit of starting late, stopping early, and telling yourself that one more break will not matter. But those breaks are not harmless when they keep repeating. 5 minutes becomes 50. A delay becomes a pattern becomes a season, and a season becomes a life that feels stuck. If you're tired of feeling like there's never enough time, you have to stop treating time like something that happens to you and start treating it like something you direct. That means making decisions before the day controls you. It means looking at your schedule and being honest about where your energy is going. It means understanding that every hour is either building your future or borrowing from it. There is no neutral time. There is only used time and wasted time. Once you see that clearly, you begin to respect your day differently. A lot of people wait for a free block of time that never comes. They think success will begin when life gets quieter, when the pressure eases, when the family is settled, when work slows down, when the mind finally feels calm. But the truth is that life rarely clears a perfect path. The path is built while life is still noisy. You create the hours by making changes inside the hours you already have. A person who learns to build in small pockets of time becomes dangerous in the best way. 10 focused minutes can become something real. 20 minutes before the world wakes up can become a turning point. A lunch break can become a learning session. An evening can become a launch pad instead of a collapse. You do not need a life that gives you more time. You need a mind that knows how to claim the time that is already there. That shift alone can change everything. Because when you stop waiting for free time and start creating usable time, your life begins to move. One of the biggest time thieves is distraction. Not the obvious kind only, but the quiet kind. The kind that feels harmless in the moment. Checking one message, watching one clip, opening one tab, replaying one conversation, worrying about one problem without solving it. These things do not always look dangerous, but they slowly eat the hours you were supposed to use for growth. The more distracted you are, the less deep your work becomes. The less deep your work becomes, the less progress you make. And the less progress you make, the more your mind starts to believe that you are the problem. But often, you're not the problem. The environment is. The habits are. The lack of boundaries is. The good news is that you can change that. You can silence some noise. You can protect some time. You can reduce the places where your attention gets stolen. You can choose a different pattern. A focused hour is often more powerful than a distracted day. That is why discipline matters so much. It protects the space where success is built. You also have to face the truth about energy. Some people say they do not have time, when the deeper issue is that they are drained from the way they live. They sleep too little. They worry too much. They consume too much. They move too little. They let their mind stay tired all day and then wonder why focus never arrives. If you want more usable hours, you have to support your energy. Rest is not laziness. Recovery is not weakness. A tired brain wastes time because it keeps needing relief. A calm, rested brain uses time with far more precision. That means your bedtime matters. Your food matters. Your movement matters. Your breathing matters. The way you begin and end your day matters. A person with a steady system of recovery can create more effective hours from the same 24 as someone who runs on stress and sugar and mental chaos. You are not just managing time. You are managing the energy that makes time useful. Then there's the habit of overcommitting. This one quietly destroys many good people. They say yes too often. They take on too much. They promise more than they can realistically hold. They fill their days with obligations that do not match their actual priorities. And because of that, the important work gets pushed aside. They are busy, but not building. They are active, but not effective. They are exhausted, but not proud. Learning how to say no is one of the fastest ways to create more time. Say no to what drains you. Say no to what does not matter. Say no to extra noise when your future needs silence. Say no to obligations that steal from your best hours. Every time you say no to the wrong thing, you are saying yes to the right thing. That is how you create space, not by having a bigger day, but by protecting the one you already have. Time grows when boundaries grow. That is a lesson many people learn too late. Do not learn it too late. Another hidden reason people feel they have no time is that they are not using the beginning of the day wisely. The first hour matters more than most people realize. It sets the tone. It decides whether your brain enters the day with direction or drift. If your first move is to hand your attention to the world will take it and keep asking for more. If your first move is to protect your mind, your day starts with ownership. This can be simple. Wake up and do not rush into noise. Get moving. Drink water. Make your bed. Write the top 3 things that matter. Start with the hardest or most important task before your brain has time to negotiate. That one habit can create hours you did not think you had, because it reduces the slow drain of procrastination. Starting strong saves time later. It prevents wandering. It creates momentum. And momentum is one of the fastest ways to make a short day feel longer, because a focused person gets more done without needing more hours. That is the secret many people overlook. To create hours that did not exist before, you must also learn how to stop time leakage in the middle of the day. Most time is not lost in big dramatic ways. It is lost in tiny leaks. A long pause between tasks. A decision to check one thing before returning to work. A habit of switching tasks too often. A few minutes of hesitation before starting again. These little leaks can swallow an afternoon. The fix is not to become harsh with yourself. The fix is to become more intentional. Group your work. Give each block a purpose. Finish one task before opening another if possible. Set a timer if needed. Create a rhythm that tells your mind what to do next. The more you reduce decision fatigue, the more energy you save for real work. People often think they need more willpower. Sometimes they need fewer choices. Simplicity can create hours because simplicity lowers friction. And when friction drops, action gets easier. You may be in a season where the weight of life makes every hour feel heavy. Bills, family pressure, doubt, delays, work stress, health stress, a mind that keeps asking if it is too late. In that kind of season, time can feel cruel. But even then, you still have power over how the hour is shaped. You may not control every demand, but you can control where your attention goes inside the demand. You can choose to move one thing forward instead of allowing the whole day to collapse. You can choose to solve one problem. You can choose to make one call. You can choose to do one useful task instead of spending another hour feeling overwhelmed. That is how change starts in real life. Not with a perfect situation, with a decision made inside an imperfect one. When your life feels crowded, you do not need to wait for more space. You need to learn how to carve space out of the crowd. That is one of the strongest skills a person can build. There is also a mindset shift that matters deeply. Stop asking, where did the time go? Start asking, where did I send it? That question changes the conversation. It stops you from feeling like a victim and moves you into responsibility. When you ask where you send your time, you begin to notice your patterns. You see where the day disappears. You see which habits are harmless only in appearance. You see the cost of small escapes. You see the places where fear makes you delay. You see the places where perfectionism makes you start over too often. You see the places where a tired mind chooses the easiest path. Once you see clearly, you can choose differently. Awareness is powerful because it turns confusion into options. And options lead to change. Many people do not need another motivational speech. They need a mirror. They need to see that the hours were never truly missing. They were being spent. That means they can be spent better. It means the future can still be shaped. It means the change begins with ownership. Ownership will ask you to be honest about what truly matters. Because not all activity is success. Not all busyness is progress. Not all effort is wise. Some people fill their days with things that feel urgent, but do not move their lives forward. They are constantly reacting, constantly responding, constantly busy, and still somehow deeply stuck. That happens when there is no clear priority. When everything matters equally, nothing gets the attention it deserves. So if you want to find time for success, define success in your current season. What is the one thing that matters most right now? Is it learning a skill, building a business, finding better work, improving health, becoming more consistent, creating peace in your home? Start there. Put your strongest energy there. The clearer the goal, the easier it becomes to create time for it. Clarity gives your mind direction. Direction saves time. People waste less when they know what they are building. So decide what matters, and then guard it. Another powerful way to create hours is to batch your work. Instead of letting small tasks interrupt your whole day, collect them and handle them together. Instead of jumping from one thing to another, give your mind some continuity. This helps because every switch costs energy. Every interruption steals a little focus. Every reset takes time. When you work in a more organized way, you create more usable hours without changing the clock. That is the key. You are not trying to make time itself larger. You are making your use of time stronger. This is why successful people often appear to have more hours. They do not. They just waste fewer of them. They have learned how to protect their concentration. They have learned how to keep moving on the same track long enough to produce something meaningful. That discipline can become yours too. You do not need a different life to begin. You need a different structure inside the life you already have. And yes, structure may feel strict at first, but structure is not your enemy. It is your ally. Structure saves you from chaos. Structure protects your goals from emotion. Structure creates an environment where your future has room to breathe. Without structure, the day pulls you in every direction. With structure, you direct the day. That is freedom. It is not the freedom to do anything. It is the freedom to do what matters without being constantly dragged away. A structured person often feels calmer because they are not making every decision from scratch. They know their priorities. They know their blocks of time. They know what comes first. They know what must wait. That calm is powerful. It gives you the mental room to think, create, and solve. It makes time feel bigger because less of it is spent on confusion. This is how people with full lives still manage to move forward. They are not superhuman. They are structured enough to use time wisely. You may also need to confront the habit of emotional delay. Sometimes people do not lack time. They lack the emotional strength to begin. The task is there, but it feels uncomfortable, so they avoid it. The call is there, but it feels awkward, so they postpone it. The project is there, but it feels hard, so they escape into something easier. Emotional delay is one of the biggest reasons time disappears. The fix is to stop asking your emotions for permission every time you need to act. Feel the discomfort and begin anyway. Feel the resistance and begin anyway. Feel the uncertainty and begin anyway. The longer you wait for emotional readiness, the more your life stays on hold. But when you move before the feelings settle, you teach yourself that action does not depend on comfort. That lesson creates time because it reduces stalling. It also creates strength because it proves you can move under pressure. People who learn this often rise faster than those who wait for perfect feelings that never come. One of the most encouraging truths is that you do not have to find time in a single giant block. You can create it in pieces. 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 40 focus minutes before the house wakes up, 30 minutes after dinner, 1 hour on the weekend. The mind often underestimates what small windows can do. But small windows, repeated consistently, become entire chapters of progress. A learner becomes skilled through repeated pockets of practice. A writer becomes finished through repeated pockets of focus. A builder becomes successful through repeated pockets of work. Do not insult small time. Respect it. Protect it. Use it. Because when you learn to make progress in small spaces, you become dangerous to procrastination. You stop needing ideal conditions. You stop giving up because the day feels crowded. You stop saying there is no time, because now you know how to create enough time for what truly matters. That skill can change the future in very practical ways. There is another layer to this message, and it is this. The people who are able to create time usually have learned how to manage their thoughts. A scattered mind makes every task feel bigger than it is. An anxious mind wastes time trying to solve tomorrow today. A defeated mind assumes there is no point in starting. But a disciplined mind says, I only need to handle this one piece now. That is enough. When your thoughts become calmer, your time becomes more usable. When you stop mentally dragging yesterday into today, you save energy. When you stop inventing disasters, you save attention. When you stop overthinking simple things, you create space for action. So part of time management is thought management. You cannot make hours appear if your mind is full of chaos. You have to clear the internal noise enough to hear what actually needs your focus. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Maybe the reason you have not found time for success is because you have been trying to protect comfort instead of purpose. Comfort tells you to rest too long, wait too long, and start too late. Purpose tells you to move now, even if the move is small. Comfort is easier in the moment, but purpose is richer in the long run. You can build a life around comfort and still feel empty. Or you can build a life around purpose and feel more alive, even when the work is hard. That is because purpose gives time meaning. The hour is no longer just an hour. It becomes an investment, a chance, a brick, something that builds. When time has meaning, you use it differently. You waste less. You respect more. You become more careful with your choices because you understand what they are costing you and what they might create. A purposeful hour often beats a comfortable day. That truth can wake a person up. Let me tell you something important. You do not need to be extraordinary to create more time. You need to be intentional. Intentional people ask better questions. What matters most right now? What can wait? What drains me? What feeds me? What is one thing I can finish today that would make tomorrow easier? What habit keeps stealing my evenings? What can I change this week that would free up space? These questions uncover hidden time. They help you see that time is often hiding inside better choices. You may not be able to add more hours to the clock, but you can add more value to the hours you already have. That is where success grows. In the value of attention, in the quality of action, in the courage to use ordinary moments well. Great results often come from ordinary time, used with uncommon purpose. That is one of the strongest lessons a person can learn. And if you have wasted time before, do not let guilt make you waste more. Guilt can trap you in the past, but guilt does not build a better future. Learn from what was lost, then move. Time is precious, yes, but that does not mean you should be crushed by regret every time you notice how much you spent poorly. Be honest, then be forward moving. Be responsible, then be practical. Stop trying to punish yourself into growth. Punishment can create shame. Growth comes from direction. It comes from action. It comes from a new standard repeated long enough to become normal. You can change from here. The past is not the final accountant of your life. Your next choices are still available. Use them well. This is how people recover their momentum. They stop romanticizing the lost hours and start respecting the remaining ones. That shift is powerful. It turns regret into fuel. A good question to ask yourself is this: what would my life look like if I treated every day like it was already valuable? Not perfect, not ideal, valuable. What if you believe that even a small morning could be used well? What if you believe that an ordinary lunch break could move your future forward? What if you believe that one focused evening could create a real shift? That belief changes behavior. People waste less when they respect what they have. They use more when they know it matters. They stop waiting for huge openings and start creating useful ones. That is how time for success is found. You do not wait for it. You make it. You build it inside the hour you already possess. You protect it from noise. You invest it in the work. You let compound. Then, little by little, the life you want begins to take shape. Keep in mind that creating time is not just about doing more. It is about doing what matters first. A life full of endless tasks can still be empty if the right things never get done. So do not measure your day by how busy you were. Measure it by whether you moved something important. Did you learn? Did you build? Did you solve? Did you improve? Did you make a decision that future you will thank you for? Those questions are more useful than simply asking how long you stayed busy. Because busy can hide waste. Purpose reveals value. That does not mean you need to chase productivity like a machine. It means you should honor the few things that truly matter and make them central. Once your life has a center, your time stops splashing everywhere. It starts flowing towards something meaningful. That is where momentum comes from. Not from doing everything, from doing the right things with steady commitment. Some people feel ashamed that they have not made time for their dream yet. They look at their schedule and see only obligations, fatigue, and missed chances. If that is you, do not sink into that shame. Start where you are. Even the busiest life contains hidden spaces. A commute, a quiet morning, a waiting room, a lunch break, a stretch of evening where you usually disappear into noise. Those spaces can be transformed, not all at once, but enough to matter. Keep a book near you. Keep a plan ready. Keep a note with your priorities. Keep your phone from owning every gap. Reclaim the little spaces one by one. They will become a runway. The runway you thought you did not have. That is how hidden hours are created. Not by waiting for perfect freedom, but by respecting the fragments of time that are already in your day. And when those fragments are used well, confidence rises. Because every reclaimed hour becomes proof. Proof that you can direct your life. Proof that you can focus. Proof that you can build even when life is messy. Proof that your circumstances are real but not final. Proof that you're not trapped in permanent delay. That proof matters because confidence without proof is fragile. But confidence built on action is sturdy. It says, I did this. I created this. I used this hour well. I moved this project forward. I made this choice count. That kind of confidence changes the way you carry yourself. It softens panic. It sharpens decision-making. It makes the next hour easier to use well. And that creates a positive cycle. The more you use time with purpose, the more capable you feel. The more capable you feel, the easier it becomes to keep going. That is the kind of momentum you want. So stop saying you do not have time as if it is a permanent condition. Start saying you're learning how to use time better. That sentence is stronger. It is honest. It is hopeful. It allows growth. It reminds you that your schedule can be redesigned, your habits can be adjusted, and your attention can be reclaimed. There is no shame in starting small. There is only danger in refusing to start at all. Success often hides inside the ordinary hours, waiting for someone to claim them with discipline. Be that person, the one who notices the hidden space, the one who protects the useful minute, the one who turns a small window into real progress, the one who no longer lets life scatter every hour into fragments, the one who chooses purpose over passive drift. That person is not waiting for a miracle. That person is building one. If you keep going, the day will begin to feel different, more shaped, more directed, more alive. You will stop wondering where the hours went because you will know exactly where you sent them. And that awareness alone can transform a life. The person who knows how to create time is never truly powerless. They can learn, they can build, they can recover, they can progress, they can make space even in a crowded season. That is a skill worth mastering. Because once you master it, you stop living like time is always disappearing. You start living like time can be shaped. And a shaped life is a stronger life. A stronger life has room for growth, room for healing, room for work, room for peace, and room for success. Protect your hours. Use them well. They are the raw material of the future you keep asking for. The most important part of this message is simple. You already have enough time to begin. Not enough to do everything. Enough to do something real. Enough to make a move. Enough to create one meaningful block today. Enough to prove to yourself that your schedule is not the final boss of your life. The real battle is whether you will take ownership of the minutes you do have. Once you do, those minutes begin to multiply in usefulness. You become more deliberate. You become more focused. You become more effective. And effectiveness is what creates success. Not busyness. Not panic. Not guilt. Effectiveness. So look at your day with fresh eyes. See the hidden space. Guard it. Use it. Repeat that tomorrow. Then the next day. And soon the life you thought had no room for success will begin to show signs of a different truth. There is time. There is time. And you can create more of it by choosing better. Your future will not be built by the hours you lose, but by the hours you reclaim. So reclaim them. One morning. One lunch break. One evening. One focused block at a time. That is how success gets time to grow. Keep one promise today, then another tomorrow, because time grows stronger when you stop wasting it on hesitation. The minutes you protect become months that change your life, and the future you want will feel less distant, more real, and within your hands. Stay steady, start now, and let discipline create hours for work that matters most.